Here we go. That was smooth.
That was too much for my aging nerves.
Yeah.
Just get my face on. Have to do my vocal warm-ups. I'm into them, by the way.
I knew you. Stop it. Warm-ups, not into them. Faggotry, not into it.
Yeah, but you know, you're
You're
kind
pretty
of
laid
like,
back, Andrew.
Rank faggotry.
you know, you're more of a shouter, more of a screamer. I see myself more as a crooner and entertainer.
This is the comedy half off.
I'm into professionalism and entertaining the crowd.
I'm into utter amateurism. I hate anything that goes well. I hate everything.
So last night was a dream for you.
I loved it, best gig ever. Awesome. It's only taken me 20 years to get to Rock City, who cares, you know? Well, the next 20 years will pass very quickly and we'll go back and do another shot in like 2027.
This is your baby. How do you think it's growing up?
Fine, you know, we're making progress, steady progress. You know, we're doing better tours all the time. You know, we're not losing money anymore and we're playing good gigs most of the time. I would just like it to be more of a self-sustaining entity where we're on the road 300 days a year, playing great shows every night and making some money, coming home at the end of the tour and actually being able to live like a human being. And maybe not sleeping on floors. We lived to play live. I love being on stage. I only feel comfortable on a stage. That's the honest truth, you know. Maybe it's a cliche. Maybe some people say that and they're trying to convince themselves that they believe that, but I truly feel comfortable on the stage. Whenever I'm off at home for long periods between tours, I just sink into deep depressions because I live for it, you know. If I could do it in more comfort, that'd be great, but if I can't, I'll continue as we are. I don't care. But you know, when you're 34 and you realise that the clock is slowly ticking away there, speedily ticking away, it sometimes feels, you don't have time to go and sit and take stock and consider your every move. Just get out there and do it while you're still alive, two working legs.
I see bands just appear out of nowhere and, you know, Kerrang have got an argument, oh, so-and-so MySpace friends, so-and-so hits and stuff like that, and they're all fucking... I know I'm sitting here in a bandana and a bit of eye makeup and stuff like that, but they're all, you know, haircuts and kind of like, you know...
Identica, it's like a...
Yeah, I mean, there's no different anymore. I don't know the difference between bloody Enter Shaqiri and Bring Me the Horizon and those new names that you hear suddenly shoved in your face, you know?
When we were 15, we maybe would know the difference. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little bit wary because we're in our 30s and we're looking at these bands and the kids are loving them, but it's probably the same when we were 15, listening to Anthrax and Nuclear Assault, and you know, the older generation at that time were probably thinking that was just a load of crap. These bands will be gone, you know, Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, and they were, you know, all those bands had broken up by like 1991.
Nowadays they are like a crap thing. Yeah. Whereas in those days, those bands, that's what a lot of these bands are imitating now. Anthrax, Nuclear Assault, you know, all that thrash metal's coming back. But, you know,
well, look, I will agree with you. If you want me to say that most modern bands are shit, I will fucking say it because they are, but I don't waste a lot of time. True. I do not waste a lot of time worrying about it. I couldn't give a fuck.
I can really...
That's the audience leaving.
I can genuinely say that myself and Griswold, at the very least, we take absolutely no notice of what's going on around us. I don't know whether bands are supposed to these days or not, but all we know is how we grew up and when the whole punk DIY thing started. We were talking about it the other day, you know, our roadie Grubbs asked us sort of like, what was it like doing bands before MySpace? And once I'd got over the absurdity of that question, I realised, hang on, that's quite a valid question, what did we do? And I'm thinking, we used to wait for letters to come in the post from Chris in Northampton, you know, oh, any chance you could play this gig on August the 23rd? I'll give you your petrol money and 6 cans of Skoll or something like that, and you'd be like, all right then, I'll find someone with a phone and ring them up. Yeah, that's cool, brilliant, you know, we'll get 20 quid. And
now in hindsight that seems absurd and you think, how could that ever have worked? But it did work.
It did work, and you know, and we don't sustain like a lifestyle or anything like that, but the bands existed, got the name around and sold records by doing that. I mean, yeah,
this was absurd. The days before mobile phones, you know, if you were on the road back then, you had to find a payphone and phone someone's landline, and if you weren't in, you were fucked. You know?
Yeah, the gig's off if you can't find.
Yeah,
you have to adapt with what's going on now. I mean, I'm quite confused with how albums are going to go with all downloadable stuff. I've not fully grasped what exactly the future's going to be, but to me that's absurd. Not being able to go into a shop and hold a CD and look at the artwork and read the lyrics. Yeah. But again, people said that about vinyl.
You know, people say all this downloading and everything is freeing music and giving it back to kids. I couldn't give a fuck what it's doing. I don't give a shit. As long as I can string this out until I die, and that's fine. I don't care where the industry's going or where it's been. I don't care about the history of rock and roll. I don't care about the future. I just want to have fun now while I'm alive. Nothing matters. You know, the entire planet is just a big ball of dust. People like Jim Morrison and Kurt Cobain, whatever, you know, dying young and leaving this great legend. Their great legend doesn't do them a hell of a lot of use. You know, they're in the ground at 27. There's like 80 years of life that they missed out on just to create some fucking legend. Who gives a shit? You know, it's maybe beneficial for some 15-year-old kid prancing around town in a Kurt Cobain RIP t-shirt. Fuck it. It's not. Rock and roll is serious and important, and on the other hand, it's absolutely meaningless. And if you can find that balance, then you're sussed. You know,
That is fucking brilliantly said.
That was, yeah.
That is excellent.
It kind of sums up what me and Jay were talking about earlier. There's rock and roll and then there's real life, and rock and roll's always going to come second, right?
Yeah, and finding the balance between the two is a beautiful thing when you're in that sweet place. And we have been a few times. It is possible.
Mm-hmm.